Good morning, everyone. My name's Keith Sellers. I'm the president and CEO of the Washington, D.C. Economic Partnership. The Washington, D.C. Economic Partnership is a nonprofit public-private partnership that was founded 20 years ago with the mission to promote business opportunities in the district through business retention, expansion, and attraction initiatives. In partnership with the Office of the Deputy Mayor for Planning and Economic Development, we support businesses, entrepreneurs looking to open and expand or invest in DC. On behalf of the partnership and our partners, the DC Chamber of Commerce, DC Small Business Development Center, and the Anacostia Economic Development Center, I want to welcome you to our DC Biz Chat on how to utilize contracting opportunities to grow your business. I want to thank the DC Chamber and Angela, who is a dear friend, on bringing together such an exciting panel today. WDCEP and the Chamber have a long-lasting relationship. We look forward to working with you and your team more closely in the future, Angela. I would also like to acknowledge the Capital One and the Office of the Deputy Mayor for Planning and Economic Development. Capital One has been a longtime partner of the DC Biz Chat series, providing support to allow us to put these types of programs together. And DMPED, who has been a partnership, primarily partner for over the past 20 years, we work together to support the business community from startups to established businesses looking to invest in the communities. With that, let me turn this over to my colleague, Daniela Jorgen, who will provide some logistical information about the webinar. Again, welcome.
Thank you all for joining us today. My name is Daniela Jorgen, and I support small businesses and entrepreneurs at the Washington, D.C. Economic Partnership. Before we begin, I would like to cover a few housekeeping items. Today's webinar is being recorded, and it will also be posted on our website and on our YouTube channel in a few weeks. When it becomes available, please share it with your network. Please utilize the chat window to share your comments and thoughts. If you have any questions for our panelists, please utilize the Q&A. Closed captioning is available for today's session, so please take advantage of that. A reminder to everyone, at the Washington, D.C. Economic Partnership, we will value everyone's opinion and respect diversity in thought, so please do the same and be respectful of each other while using the chat window. As part of today's webinar, our partners have agreed to offer one-on-one technical assistance to businesses that are looking for contracting opportunities. Please reach out to us if you're interested in business counseling as it relates to this subject matter. Next slide. For those of you joining us the first time, the DC Biz Chats series is the Washington, D.C. Economic Partnership signature workshop series that supports local businesses by providing expert advice, resources, and practical solutions. We bring together thought leaders and local businesses who are able to share their expertise with us. Next slide. Along with today's Biz Chat on how to use contracting opportunities to grow your business, we are excited and proud to release the Doing Business with the Local and Federal Government Toolkit. Thank you to all our partners at the Office of the Deputy Mayor for Planning and Economic Development, the DC Chamber of Commerce, and the DC Small Business Development Center for providing subject matter expertise and guidance to make this possible. Next slide. The toolkit, next slide, please. So the toolkit is meant to, the toolkit we're releasing today is meant to supplement the information you would receive today from our panelists, and should also help provide guidance to businesses looking to contract with the government. The toolkit is categorized in 5 sections. The first section introduces government contracting and explores the various processes, terminologies, and types of contracts. The next section navigates how to get your business ready and where to find those local and federal government contracts. The third section explores how to successfully market your product and services to potential government customers. The following section looks at how to apply for various government certifications, including local and federal certification programs, that can give your business special consideration when qualifying for certain contracts. The final section provides any other additional information as well as resources on organizations that offer assistance to businesses. So the toolkit will be available on our website for you to download. So please check it out and let us know if you have any questions. Should you need any assistance, please do not hesitate to reach out to us. Next slide. Now I'm going to turn it over to Charles Mott for a few comments. He is the Associate Director at the DC Small Business Development Center. Over to you, Charles.
Thank you, Daniela. I'd like to bring greetings to this event on behalf of Carl Brown, who's our Executive Director in the DC Small Business Development Center Network. I want to thank WDCEP for the opportunity to collaborate on the toolkit and also be part of today's events. Last night, I had an opportunity to listen to Victor Glover. He's a NASA astronaut, and he was a keynote speaker at Cal Poly's Black graduation. Cal Poly is my alma mater, undergraduate alma mater. And one of the things he mentioned during his speech, which had a great number of very excellent points, was the importance of being a good team member. And I thought about it in the context of today's event and what we do as supporters of the small business community. And I think especially given what's happened over the last 18 months, obviously, our importance as team members to support the small business community is very, very relevant and important in terms of helping with their success. And also I looked at his comment in the context of how the small business owner feels, especially given the last 18 months. And very similar to Victor's experience in being an astronaut, they sometimes feel like they're running at 17,000 miles an hour in a small capsule. So I know they're facing many, many challenges, but I welcome the opportunity to work with this group into helping the small business community and working with them into making sure and ensure their success, especially in DC. Thank you, and I look forward to today's event.
Thank you, Charles. Now I'm going to turn it over to Angela Franco. She is the president of the DC Chamber of Commerce and our moderator today. She will welcome you all and kick off this panel session. Over to you, Angela.
Well, good morning, everybody. Thank you, Keith, and the DC Economic Partnership for including the DC Chamber in this great opportunity. I think that the Doing Biz Toolkit that it was put together is a wonderful, wonderful tool to help businesses move forward and really look into opportunities. So I want to thank you for including us. The DC Chamber of Commerce is the oldest and largest business organization. We have over 1,000 members, and we were founded 83 years ago. And we are here to support the business community and support our businesses grow. Today, we have a very special panel for the business community and to me, because I'm a big believer in growing your business through certification. I've been involved in working with organizations that certify businesses for years since I was the president of the Hispanic Chamber. So now I would like to invite our panelists. Melissa Resil, she's the business certification manager for this for DSLBD, the Department of Small and Local Business. Robert DuHart, he's the business opportunity specialist at the Small Business Administration, and Milton Goodman, the program manager at DC PTAC. So please join me in this conversation. This is going to be a great panel where you're going to be learning about the processes to follow in pursuing contracting opportunities, common mistakes to avoid in working with the government, and how you can utilize certification and where to start, how to get certified. So thank you, Melissa, Robert, and Milton for joining us this morning. I have no doubt that our businesses are gonna greatly benefit from your knowledge. You've been doing this kind of work for years, and it's important that we share what we know so that some more businesses can grow. So I'm gonna ask each of the panelists to take a couple of minutes to share who you are and what do you do. Melissa, Ladies first.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Angela, for the introduction. I want to thank you all also, the partnership, Keith Sellers and Angela Franco from the DC Chamber, for inviting me here today. I'm Melissa Resil. I'm the program manager, business certification manager with the DC Department of Small and Local Business Development. I mainly focus on entry into the CBE program, so the application process that it takes to create that supply. We have over 1,900 small businesses that are in our active portfolio right now. So I manage that process right now. The Department of Small and Local Business Development, we work with businesses at any stage of your life cycle. So we are here to support the development, retention, and growth and retention of district-based businesses. So we're here to meet you where you are. And so that's a brief introduction about me. I'm here to answer any questions and talk about the Certified Business Enterprise Program and the benefits.
Thank you, Melissa. And we're going to continue introducing the panelists. And I'm sure many of you have clarity, but I just want to take a minute to share that we're going to be talking about two different levels of certification. One that is on the local level with the district, and the other one that is on the federal government with the Small Business Administration. So thank you, Melissa, for that. I'm going to go to you, Milton, to share who you are and what you do.
Very good. Good morning, everyone. My name is Milton Goodman, and I am the program manager for Washington, D.C.'s Procurement Technical Assistance Center. Very happy to be here this morning. And our main concern is to make sure that we, first of all, under the banner of the Department of Small and Local Business Development, we render advisory services to small and mid-sized businesses who are seeking contracting opportunities in both the state and local government as well as the federal government. Our service offerings include one-on-one counseling as well as a variety of training as it relates to any and everything that you do in the way of business growth and acceleration. We also offer an array of market research tools that is available for you once you become a client of the PTAC. That's the affectionate acronym for Procurement Technical Assistance Center. And our team consists of 4 counselors at this given point in time, along with myself. And we're here to make sure we can be the bridge between you, the contractor, and the government, so that we might be able to position and posture you with opportunities as well as the talent that you bring to the table, whereas we're not looking to acquire contracts for you. We just want to make sure that you are business ready and procurement ready when it comes to seeking the contracting opportunities. So again, very, very happy to be here. We welcome the opportunity to field any questions that you may have when it comes to you beginning your journey toward government contracting.
Thank you so much. Thank you for that great introduction. I'm going to go to you, Robert. Please share about you and what you do.
Good morning, and thank you for having me. As spoken, my name is Robert DuHart. I'm a business opportunity specialist with the Small Business Administration. And I'm one of a number of specialists that are responsible for working with 8A firms to help them understand, negotiate by coaching, counseling, and helping them to negotiate the path to doing more business with the federal government. We work in conjunction with the local jurisdictions as well as with PTACs in order to make sure that, as Milton said, that the firms that we're counseling are business ready and procurement ready. And I think the procurement ready is one of the most important things, understanding the FAR and understanding how to utilize those tools in order to do business with the federal government. I'm extremely happy to be working with this team because I think this is a great example of how the small business ecosystem works together to develop and to provide quality small businesses for the acquisition process.
Thank you so much. Okay, so let's start some question and answers. If anybody that is participating has a question, please put your question in the chat and we'll make sure we answer it. So let's start with the basic. How can, if there's a company that wants to get certified, you know, with the local government, or wants to start receiving technical assistance, or wants, or is certified, you know, as an 8A and then want to grow, what's the first steps they need to take to get there? So why don't we start? Well, I'm going to go the other way around. I'm going to start with you, Mr. DuHart. Why don't you share, you know, who would go to you and how does that process start?
Okay, the process would start to become 8A certified by actually uploading an application into US Certified and going through that process. The initial process would be one where you'd have to distribute quite a bit of information about your business. So one should have been in business for a little while so that they have banking statements, accounting statements, things of that nature to upload into Certify, that so that the Small Business Administration can analyze whether or not you meet the criteria to become an 8A business. And once you become an 8A business, that's when actually you move into my realm, where I then, myself and my colleagues then pick that group of businesses up and help them to navigate the federal government.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Mr. Goodman, I'm gonna go to you, and since we receive all kind of businesses from all sizes, you know, all type of businesses, why don't you go a little more in detail about, you know, what to think? I mean, who can go and get assistance? You know, let's start with the basic. Sometimes a company is like, I don't even know where to start. And I think that you can give them a very good path for that.
Sure. Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Robert, for giving us that information relative to that 8A certification, because that's vital. But the strategic approach that we kind of take a look at when any business comes to the PTAC, the very first thing we're going to do is do an assessment of exactly where they are. And we're going to talk and ask them some of the hard questions as it relates to, okay, you come to me and you're asking me that you want to be 8A certified, so to speak, or you like very much to start doing your business in the federal market. Well, the very first thing we're going to ask is, you know, talk about the talents that you're bringing to the table, your core competencies. Let us see some of those, number one, and then let us see where you have done business in the past, okay? And if you're going to come to me and say, well, we don't have any business at this given point in time under my banner, but I have a wealth of experience in information technology. That's fantastic. That's great. What I like very much for you to do is begin the process of starting your business. That's proper registration in a particular area. If you haven't done that, it's for area meaning in a particular state, and making sure that you have a business banner that you can function up under. But even after you do that and you're well on your way, let's just say you got 2 years into the business at this point in time, and now you want to do business with the federal government. Now we're going to look at you and we're going to look for your core competencies. Number one, we're going to ask you strategically, are you ready to acquire a particular certification? Let's just say it's an 8A certification. We'll talk to you about the initial rules, and Robert highlighted those. One of the highlighted areas of interest is that you're going to have that vehicle for at least 9 years. Now, do you have the internal infrastructure, your company, to really do proper marketing for that particular vehicle? The vehicle is going to be absolutely useless to you if you do not have the research tools or the marketing capability and capacity to really move forward with that particular vehicle. And that lends itself to just about any vehicle that you're going to be a part of in the event if you're going to pursue government activity. You have to make sure that you have a proper infrastructure. Know exactly, we can assist you with the place areas as to where you'd like very much to jumpstart or start your search for business. But we want to know, number one, what are you utilizing in the way of talent? Number two, talk to me about your infrastructure or how are you going to pursue work? And then number three, do you clearly understand where you have done business and can actually label it past performance prior to considering to do business in the federal or state and local government arena?
Thank you so much. And Melissa, I'm going to go to you, and also if you can talk a little bit about what why it's important to get certified. I mean, and how to take the first steps. I get a lot of requests. Yes, I mean, sometimes I mention it and a lot of people don't even know it exists, a lot of businesses. So why don't we start saying what it is and how can people start as well with the local certification?
Sure. The Certified Business Enterprise Program, it's a local inclusion program. So the main focus of this program is to provide local businesses, so for-profit businesses that are headquartered here in the District of Columbia, to provide them with preference when responding to procurement opportunities with the district government. We have, I always say the 3 whys as to why someone would want to get certified. District government agencies, every year we have to spend 50% of our expendable budget with certified firms. And so we start with certified small businesses, but then we go to the big pool of local businesses if we do not find small businesses to meet certain needs. But the government agencies have to spend with local firms. And so last fiscal year, I believe we did over $900 million with local firms. And our initial target is about $917 million this year. So there is money there with the district government agencies to spend with our local businesses. In addition to that, any contract over $250,000 that is government assisted projects. So anyone familiar with the district, the wharf projects, a lot of the development projects in the city, they have a 35% subcontracting requirement. During the pandemic, it was 50%, but I believe right now we're back to that 35%. So they have to subcontract 35% of that contract value with our local firms. So that's another opportunity for businesses that are headquartered here. In addition, anything under $250,000 that is set aside for our certified firms. So that's automatically an opportunity for local firms. And so those are the 3 whys I like to tell people. There's money out there for our local businesses. To begin the process, like I said, you have to be a for-profit business headquartered here in the district. You would visit our website. It's dslbd.dc.gov. And I can place this information in the chat as well. You would go to the Get Certified section of our website and new applicants, and you would register in the district enterprise system. So the application is online. You will be prompted to upload documents based on your business structure and the categories that you select. And then we go through that process. It's automatically assigned to a member of my team. Currently, I have 3 specialists. And so they'll reach out to you within 10 days, business days, if there are any deficiencies. And the application process can take up to 45 business days. So that's barring any issues that you may have with the application. So everything is online. And right now we're doing virtual site visits. We haven't quite transition to in-person visits yet, but that is coming soon as we're reopening, but everything is online. So that's basically the first step. I would also recommend when you do register in the district enterprise system, you'll see an option to complete a CBE wizard. And what that will do is provide you with a sample checklist. So a lot of times, I know, Angela, you may hear like comments about it's kind of cumbersome. There's a lot of documents. That will help you actually gather your documents together before you start the process. So I always recommend, it's not required, but I do recommend that people complete the wizard before they get started.
Thank you so much. Thank you all for your great information. Now we're going to go actually into how to go after those businesses, those business opportunities. And then we have some questions in the chat, and then we'll go to the questions in the chat. Mr. Goodman, let's start with you. How can a person, if it is certified, it has everything in place, how do they have access to those contracts? What do you recommend? Because sometimes people say, oh yeah, I have the certification, but now I don't know how to get a contract. How can they do that specifically?
Well, the very first thing that we encourage our potential clients is to become a client of the PTAC, first of all. And in order to do that, you have to have been in business easily for about a year, and you have a business plan that you're going to show us, and you actually have a capability statement. The capability statement is, in fact, that 8.5 by 11 document that tells potential government agencies all about your company. And in the federal space, they're driven via NAICS codes. So you're going to highlight the NAICS codes that you have on your capability statements that talks about the actual industry sector that you are a part of and the kind of work that you get involved in doing. And we will assist you when it comes to pursuing government opportunities. The very first thing that we encourage you as a client, let's just see exactly what your past performance looked like. And we will partner, we will connect you realistically with some government agencies that has highlighted the fact that they are looking to do business in the area in which you provide services. Now, we also connect you with the various tools in the federal space. One key tool is the Federal Procurement Data Systems Database, that's FPDS. That is, in fact, an effective tool that will allow you to not only do a search when it comes to NAICS codes, it actually does a search when it comes to keyword searches in the industry sector that you're a part of. So when you bring us your core competencies, we sit down and we do the necessary market research to put you on the right track, if you will, in pursuing and researching contracting opportunities. Now, that's what we're doing on our side as a PTAC representative, and you being a client of the PTAC. Now, on your side, meaning the small business, now you're connected with this particular agency. The very first thing that you like very much to do once you've identified an opportunity, connect yourself with the small business element of that agency. That small business representative will talk to you about what that agency gets involved in doing, which we also encourage. Once we identify a particular agency that you want to pursue, let's look at what FPDS, which is the Federal Procurement Data Systems Databases, says all about that particular agency. See what kind of research we can get involved in doing before you make the initial call. We identify opportunities along together in pursuing that particular agency and position you when it comes to either small purchases through a small purchasing agreement with the agency, or blanket purchase orders, or basic ordering agreements when it comes to those particular agencies. We aren't encouraging you to come and try as best as possible to swallow this elephant all at one time. You have to look at it from a strategic standpoint, point out your particular direction as to where you would like very much to pursue business. That is the primary purpose of our service offerings when we sit down and we help you with market research and position and posture you, the company, to look effectively at contracting opportunities in a particular space. Now, obviously, you're going to tell us where your past performance lies. If it lies in government in any capacity, that's always a good thing. But if your past performance is on the commercial side of the house, we're going to do an assessment of that as well. Work out a strategic plan as to how we can use your past performance and pursue the business opportunities that's identified either through FPDS, or you got other periodicals that are out there. As a matter of fact, the Fed BizOps periodical or Fed BizOps information will allow you to find some accurate data. Oftentimes, the data that's housed in Fed BizOps gives you sources sort material. Now, all of a sudden, you see exactly where you want to look, and you see exactly how you can pair your strengths up against a particular opportunity. And if you really don't know exactly how to pursue it from that end, you come to the PTAC, we sit down, we talk to you, and we see and guide you from a standpoint of who you should be talking to penetrate the particular agency. It's clearly a bidding process. You have to position yourself to see exactly how you can effectively bid in the federal government space or in the state and local government space. That's how you pursue business opportunities when you are pursuing business in the government arena.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Goodman. What would you say, Mr. DuHart? And I understand there's some programs as well that businesses can take advantage of in pursuing opportunities, right?
Yes, there are. Yes, there are. I wanted to kind of connect some of the dots because, when we talk about why certification also gives you an opportunity to narrow competition. so that when you do compete in a bidding arena, if you are woman-owned, SDV, SOB, or something of that nature, or just small disadvantage, now you're competing against those other businesses that are the same size as you. So that gives you an opportunity, really a better opportunity to win government business, as opposed to going out and bidding against everyone at large. That works also doubly well with what Milton is saying, in terms of when you get in front of the small business specialists or the OSTBUs in the federal government and those agencies, because now they know exactly where their numbers are in terms of these different socioeconomic categories, and and can help you to better place yourself in terms of where you're going within their agencies in order to increase the chances that you're going to be able to do business with the federal government. In terms of doing business with the federal government, it's like being a carpenter. You want to measure and target. Targeting is the key to be able to understand, and everything that Mr. Goodman is talking about is targeting before you make contact, so that you know who you should be talking to, which NAICS codes you're working in, whether or not those agencies actually are, how much of your service or product are they buying? And so therefore you can make a decision as to where to go from a business development point of view, which increases your chances of winning a contract.
Thank you very much. How about you, Melissa? Where those businesses can go to have access to DC opportunities, to contracts with DC?
So for DC opportunities, I would say the DSLBD, we have a business toolkit. So I would suggest to go to our website, as I mentioned, dslbd.dc.gov. We have, it's called it's www.dcbusinesstoolkit.com. We've kind of consolidated all of the opportunities that are available, whether it's financial opportunities, workshops, things of that nature, on our website. I would also say for once anyone who becomes, any business that becomes certified, we do recommend as a next step that they go to our Office of Contracting and Procurement to register with the DC supply schedule, because that's specific just for CBEs. And so that would be, I think they have a workshop on the second Thursday of every month that you have to attend to register with the supply schedule. So that's for like small purchases. So anything that we have to procure, like if I have to purchase equipment, services, or anything for my division, you have to go to that schedule first in order to procure services. So that is an opportunity for local firms to participate. Also, I think if you're not interested in getting certified, I believe OCP, you can register as a vendor just for open market opportunities. So if there's an opportunity that's open for whether you're headquartered here or not, you'll be able to receive any solicitation notifications that come in from OCP. And so I would recommend, registering with the Office of Contracting and Procurement to receive those opportunities. Also visiting our business toolkit. We are a small agency, but we do so much. So like, if you're interested in visiting the PTAC, Milton provided you with that information, but we also, if you're interested in sports betting, you can visit our website. There's a certification process for that. That's an opportunity if you're in that space. Other than that, for the contracting side, we would recommend you visit our toolkit, as well as register with the Office of Contracting and Procurement so you can start receiving opportunities. That would be my recommendation.
Yeah, thank you, Melissa. I think that on top of everything you have said is maybe having an understanding of who you want to do business with and start building relationships with those specific agencies. You can receive, you already shared how people can get the procurement opportunities in the district. And Mr. Goodman, I don't know if you want to share how, or Mr. DuHart, how people can have access to the procurement opportunities for the federal government.
Can I just add one more thing? I'm
Yes.
sorry. So we do have the Small Business Opportunity Guide as well. I would be remiss if I did not mention the Green Book.
Yeah,
So, I was like, oh no. So so we have the Green Book. So I would recommend visiting our website for the greenbookdc.com. That is, I
The
talked
green book
about.
shows all the opportunities, the procurement.
Correct. So
opportunities.
all of the agencies that spend money with our local firms, you can see what their budget is and you can see where they're spending the money. And as you said, Angela, you can decide like who you want to approach, because a lot of times it's building those relationships with those procurement entities in order to kind of put a name to your business, right? Or put a face to your business when they're reviewing bids. So sorry about that. I just wanted
No,
to
that's okay. No, I'm
put
glad.
that in there because I needed to mention the green book.
No, the green book is very important. So I'm glad you did. Now I'm going to go
And
back to you, Mr. Goodman and Mr. DuHart. If we can share what people can, you know, sign up to get all the procurement opportunities, even though, you know, building those relationships is critical. You know, there are some businesses that just want to know what's coming up in the pipeline.
One of the ways
it's a-
that they can, I'm sorry, one of the ways that people can go and actually look for opportunities is by going to each federal government agency's site. And normally in the OSTBU's office, what you'll find is they'll have a forecast. And a lot of the forecasts are laid out very well in terms of what it is they want to purchase, the quarter that they're going to purchase, and most importantly, they give you the actual contracting officer that is responsible for that in the area of the country that particular procurement is going to be in. You can also go to now the new revised SAM.gov website, which used to be for BizOps, to mine as well for opportunities. And there are a number of different other, I guess you would call them platforms that you could go to that range from FedMine to GovWin to actually mine opportunities that are already out there for your pipeline. For me, the key, not only being able to go out there and find the forecast or what people or what the agencies need, but the databasing of that information so that you can now start to do the appropriate direct marketing that is necessary to get your name out in that particular contracting officer's mindset. Top of brain with contracting officers, especially in simplified acquisitions, where they technically only need 3 different quotes in order to make a purchase, and they normally come very quickly, is the name of the game there. It's not, that's a short game. If you're a golfer, you know, the simplified acquisition, 250,000 and below is the short game. The long game is going to be the RFP, what's happening on the forecast and things of that nature. But if you only have one part of that game, then what you're doing is you're putting yourself at risk. And you want to make sure that you can put gas in the car by getting those simplified acquisitions while you wait on the RFPs that you're mining, that you're databasing, and that particular pipeline that you've developed as you continue to keep those contracting officers aware of the fact that you have the services, that you have the vehicles, and that you can do this particular work. So those would be the areas I think that they could start at.
Thank you. Mr. Goodman, you want to say?
Sure. I think Robert, as well as Melissa, have brought through on some very vital areas. And just to kind of piggyback off of some of the things that they've highlighted, they've given you preamble data relative to filling out, getting access.
Hello.
To some of the DC government key area relative to positioning yourself at the Office of Contracting and Procurement. And that key element is making sure you connect with their ombudsman, which is the small business representative coming out of the Office of Contracting and Procurement. His name, by the way, is Mr. William Tigg, and he's affectionately known as Pete. So Pete will definitely meet you exactly where you are, explain to you the intimacies of the agency and how you can effectively utilize.
He's freezing. Okay. He froze. Okay, so he will come back in a minute. I'm gonna go now to some of the questions that we have on the chat because we have like 10, so let's start. The first one is, how do I submit the 2-year waiver if I haven't been in business for 2 years?
For normally, I know in the federal government, in our process, that's something that's normally used in the 8A process with tribally owned and Alaska Native businesses. And that's simply a form that you have to sit down and fill out. And they're really concerned with understanding exactly what you've done, how you've done it, and why you believe, why you think that you should be given the waiver. But that's normally a form that you would fill out on your own, or you can fill that out in conjunction with the PTAC. And once again, here's how this ecosystem is working. Before you get into a certification, the people at the PTAC can really give you that hands-on assistance in order to get those certification paperwork ready to go, so that you'll just submit it one time and not have to go back and forth.
Thank you. And how about you for the local government, Melissa?
So currently the Certified Business Enterprise Program, we do not have like a wait time for certification. There's a full local definition, so it's very long and extensive, but so as long as you meet the local test, you can, I would say, submit an application. But if you cannot meet one of the criteria listed in the local definition, then you would have to wait until you do. So I think that's the only time you would have to wait. But there's no, you can start a business today, and tomorrow start your application as long as you meet the full local definition, and that's listed on our website. As I mentioned, if you do a hard click on Get Certified, the full definition, local definition is there.
Okay, thank you. Now, Mr. Goodman, you're back. Welcome back. Okay, so we're now going through some of the questions that have been asked. The second one is, I want to first become a women small owned business and ideally a minority owned as well. Can you share the best third-party certifiers for each? I'm not sure I understand the question very well, but I imagine it's who can support her in getting her certified, I guess with the CBE and with the federal government. So, I mean, I would say that the DC PTAC is the right place to go, right? To get that support. So we would recommend that you go there. If we're missing an answer for your question, please put it on the chat in a more clear way, please.
Excuse me, I got cut off some kind of way. I don't know exactly what happened, but
I know you froze on us, so we're like, it's okay, that happens.
Did you come in that are you speaking in terms of women-owned small businesses being a part of government contracting?
Yeah, no, we closed that chapter, but okay, if you
good.
Finish it, because we went to the questions, we kind of closed that, and now we're answering. We have like 10 questions in the chat, and I want to cover as many as we can.
No problem.
Angela, I just want to say, for women-owned small businesses, there are some third-party organizations that have been certified by WOSB organizations to be those that you should go to that could help you and that are credible. Just about all of the agencies in their Ostabu office have a person or a department that is specially sanctioned to work with women-owned business, service disabled-owned businesses in order to help them through those processes.
Yes, I mean, right here in DC, you have DC PTAC, you have the DC Women's Center, you have the Department of Local, at Howard Unit, we just had it with us. The SBDC, Small Business Development Centers, they can give technical assistance support and certification as well. Okay, the next question. How about those companies headquartered outside the district, but looking to engage business in the district? I guess that's for you, Melissa.
Right, so I would say I would send you to the Office of Contracting and Procurement to register as a vendor. As I mentioned, you will be able to receive those open market opportunities as a business that's not headquartered in DC. So I would start there.
Another place I might go as well, Melissa, would be to DCRA to become licensed. If my business is in Maryland and I want to do business in DC or Virginia, then I normally have to go to their state licensing regulatory agency to become an alien business in that jurisdiction. And then I'm able to do business as an alien. They know who I am, so on and so forth. But I totally agree with Melissa. That's the next stop I'm going to make is to OCP.
You're absolutely correct. I think you have to be licensed to do business here in the district. So your first stop actually would be to register as a foreign entity with DCRA, and then register with OCP. But yeah, that's correct.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, next question. Does PTAC provide any resources around procurement pricing that can help small businesses become competitive?
Yes, we do. The very first thing we get involved in doing is rendering training around proposal development and price structure. So when you become a client, and even if you're not a client, we welcome you to attend some of our training sessions where we detail the price structure as it relates to proposal development and as it relates to rendering price, if you will, to bidding opportunities. Now, that's the very first thing that we would encourage you to get involved in doing. But we also have people on our team. There's a gentleman by the name of Earl King who has a financial base, if you will, and a clear understanding as to how pricing is structured as it relates to proposal development. So we have available within our counseling structure, you come to us with some specific areas of interest as it relates to pricing and how you like to lay your pricing out against proposal submission. Then once you become a client of the PTAC, we can work with you and assist you on the specific areas of interest relative to pricing. But we have training sessions easily within on a quarterly basis, maybe 3 times within a quarter, that details how your proposal should look, and from a pricing perspective, some of the elements that are a part of the pricing details. So we have very good, solid relationships with subject matter experts that will work with you. And by the way, these service offerings and counseling structures are at no cost to you. So feel free to really become a client, and we work very well with our resource partners that are out there. And in addition to that, we want to make sure that we are here for those who are pursuing government contracting, and make sure that once you come to our training sessions, we encourage you to talk to us about what you've learned in those particular sessions, because that is our purpose. It's a federal funded grant structure that we're under, and one of the key factors for us is to make sure that our clients really sees the value as it relates to our service offerings through counseling. So pricing or any other entity that lends itself to growth and acceleration of your business, definitely bring it to our attention, and we will begin to address some of those areas on a specific nature.
Angela, I think pricing is, whoever asked that question, I'm glad they asked it, because it is so important in the federal government, state and local government arena. That's how you start to build the actual base of your business in terms of whether or not you're going to be able to compete, understanding what direct charge is, what an overhead charge is, things of that nature are just crucial in building your base and in determining how many resources you can bring to your company as your company starts to grow. As a trusted advisor to those businesses that have made it into the 8A program, once again, Milton is absolutely correct. I send people to the PTAC. Once again, it's the ecosystem, we're all working together point of view to build those skills so that they can be more marketable as they move out into the federal, state, and local government. There's also SCORE, which are executives and subject matter experts, and this is free as well, that are available for people to go to have one-on-one counseling on how to build these particular points. And I think that our clients should use all of these resources. You know, sometimes people say, well, I didn't have a really good result here. Well, it's okay. Find the next resource and utilize that resource until you find the one that works for you. Just because I go to one cleaners and they do a bad job on my shirts doesn't mean I stop having my shirts clean. I keep going to cleaners until I can find the one that works. And that's the same thing as you're looking for professionals that are going to give you advice in your business.
Thank
So
you.
Angela, we're going to ask the questions oftentimes that they don't like to be asked, they being the potential small business. Because the very first thing we want to make sure we do is take an assessment of exactly where they are, and we will meet you where you are. And if we feel as if though at this given point in time that you haven't connected all of the dots to really get to where you want to go relative to an answer to the specific question that you're asking us,
Like a reality check.
we're going to make it known. That reality check is clear. We're going to make it known to you. Hey, you may not be ready for this kind of action.
Yeah.
But we're not going to turn off on you. We're going to send you somewhere where you can prepare. You know, you got a couple of steps before you get back to us. And at that given point in time, we'll be ready to support you and move you in the areas where you feel that you should be moving toward.
Yeah. Yes, thank you. Okay, there's one more question here. Is there a maximum dollar amount for procurement on the DC supply schedule? Based on the description provided, it appears that DC supply schedule is for small dollar procurement, similar to the Simplified Acquisition Plan, SAP, in the federal government. Is this an accurate assumption? Who wants to respond to that question?
You're talking a major dollar amount, Melissa. I have no idea.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, I'm not quite sure, but I could definitely find out for the person. I would say
Okay.
reach out to the Office of Contracting and Procurement,
Right.
probably PTAC.
Yes.
Because I believe James Webb is for the DC supply schedule. It'll be james.webb@dc.gov. But PTAC kind of are all things OCP as the ombudsman. So we can probably give you guys his info so that way you can post it in the chat.
Yeah,
Okay.
his email address is william.tig at
Okay.
william.tig and the number 2 at dc.gov.
Okay.
Thanks, Milton.
William.tig. T is in Tom, E is in Edward, A, G-U-E.
Okay. Now there's one more question here. How can you track and compete for sole source contract opportunities?
Well, that's from an 8A point of view, the way that you compete for sole source opportunities would be to take all of the things that we really have talked about to prepare in terms of having a CAPE statement, having all of your financial systems intact. With the SBA, if you get a COC for your particular company, which shows your competency, it really, sole sources come from relationships that the individual entrepreneur has built with those contracting officers, program managers, and cores. When those people understand that you can do the work that they have had, that they forecasted, or that they're thinking about doing, at that point in time, there's a process that we utilize within the SBA after that particular entrepreneur has done their work in terms of making contact with those three, with the contracting officer being the one in the middle. And that contracting officer feels that they can do the job and the program manager nods off on that. Then an offer letter is sent to the SBA, indicating that they want to do business with that particular 8A firm. Based on all of the capabilities that they have, and based on a partnership agreement between SBA and the various agencies throughout the federal government. Once it gets to the SBA then processes that and then brings that work into the 8A program, and it becomes a part of the 8A portfolio that you hear about. I'm sure you've heard the term that once something goes into the 8A program, it never comes out. That's that portfolio of business that we use to grow businesses. That piece of business is brought in, and then that sole source is accepted by SBA, and then a letter is sent back to that contracting officer, and then they begin to negotiate with that particular 8A business for sole source. Now, what a lot of people don't realize is that all of the 8A contracts that our 8A clients have with the agencies are really 8A, those contracts really are between the SBA and the actual agency. And as our agent, the 8A firm is actually doing the work. And that's why we are involved in it to that extent, because the partnership agreement gives the SBA the opportunity to negotiate like that and to accept that business on the 8A's behalf.
Thank you.
Now, for those small businesses who are not 8A certified, and I highly encourage you, because that's a very, very expeditious procurement tool, and it works very well. But maybe you're not certified at this given point in time. You're aspiring to be, but you're not there. And if you like very much to try to create a set-aside environment, the PTAC works very closely with strategy to work with that particular agency. And this only works in the event that you, just like Robert said, you got to have a sound relationship with that particular agency. That agency clearly sees the value that you bring to the table. And if there's an opportunity that you want to minimize competition on, there is absolutely nothing wrong with you writing a letter to the contracting element asking for them to partially set aside this particular requirement for a small business set aside. Now, you can have an expeditious procurement vehicle right away, but you're expiring to get one. But what you do have is a relationship with that agency, and you see an opportunity that's full and open, and the contracting element of that agency hasn't even considered it to be a small business set aside, but you have the capability and capacity to actually do this work, then you should put together a significant letter to the contracting element of that agency, asking them to set it aside for a small business set aside to minimize the procurement. You may even get to a situation where you get a ruling of 2, something along that line.
That's
Yes,
what I was
thank
waiting
you.
for.
We
Yes.
have only, I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but we only
problem.
have 2 minutes to go. So I know this is
Okay.
a conversation that we can have for the rest of the day.
Okay.
So I'm gonna let Melissa, if you can just in very short, 30 seconds, where can they get with a sole source or how they can do that? Very short, that would be great, so that we can just go and close after.
Sure. So I would recommend visiting our transparency portal. So it's the Office of Contracting and Procurement. I keep mentioning this. So it's contracts.ocp.dc.gov. I would recommend going there to research any of the sole source opportunities.
Thank you. And again, building those relationships is key, because that's gonna be very beneficial for the sole sources.
Absolutely.
Anyway, so I thank you all very much for your participation this morning. I mean, if the participants need additional information, you can go to the toolkit. We're here at your service. We're all here to help you. So what the thing that we can all take away is that there's a lot of support, there's a lot of information, and there's always a place where to start. We're here to help you. Again, Keith, thank you so much for including the DC Chamber. I think this was a great panel, and this is a great opportunity for businesses to grow. So I'll turn it over to you or Daniela.
Thank you, Angela, Franco. Thank you, Melissa. Thank you, Robert DuHart. Thank you, Milton Goodman. And this was an amazing panel discussion. Thank you to all our partners as well. Obviously, the DC Chamber of Commerce, the Anacostia Economic Development Corporation, and the DC Small Business Development Center. Also, thank you to you all for attending the Biz Chat today. I hope you were able to get lots of information on government contracting and the certification processes. Next slide. So this summer we are going to have a lot of exciting contents coming up. Our next and last Biz Chat for the year will be on commercial leasing. If you are interested in our prior Biz Chat, they have been recorded, and this one is recorded as well, and it's going to be available on our website. Also, we will be releasing 3 other business toolkits in the coming months. The first one will be on how a small business can transition to an employee ownership. The next toolkit will be a commercial leasing guide. And the last toolkit will explore how to successfully launch a crowdfunding campaign. And so please stay tuned for more information in the coming weeks and months. So this concludes our DC Biz Chat. After the webinar, you will receive an email with the links to the recorded session in 2 weeks. It would also be posted on our website. Please feel free to reach out to any of the host organizations and panelists if you have any questions or concerns about today's session. So in a few minutes, you'll be redirected to a survey. Please take a moment to fill it out. Your feedback is very, very important to us. Again, thank you all and have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.